Can you remember that far back?
I can remember that far back, just, yeah. I'd been there at the school quite a while, and Jim joined the school, and we got on well. It was evident that he was interested in scuba diving, and I was running a kind of scuba diving club, I suppose you could say, at the school. And it wasn't long before Jim started helping me with that, and we were taking kids off diving all around the south coast of England, and then later to the Red Sea, to Sharm el Sheikh. So unaccustomed as we are to opening beer, I mean, I find this quite a challenge. Oh look, I seem to be able to do it. There you go.
Cheers.
Cheers. I had not long completed my PADI instructor course and IDC and that kind of stuff up in Gildenborough, in very cold quarry in March, and we started talking about that, I guess, to some extent, and the fact that I basically felt freezing cold for the vast majority, well, the whole time. I mean, it wasn't even the majority of the time, it was the whole time, and was really questioning what dive kit I had. And that was part of the whole process of why we started thinking that perhaps we could build something or create something that was better, higher performing than the dive thermal gear that was out there at the time.
There was this almost confusion as to why all these guys coming over to do your instructor exam were also freezing if they presumably had the best kit in the world. They had access to the best kit in the world, and they were still freezing. So logically, it was meant that the right kit didn't exist. And then, somewhat naively, possibly a little bit arrogantly, we were like, well, maybe we could make it. Another aspect was that I certainly had spent my time while we were there in Sharm el Sheikh going, get a souvenir T-shirt sort of thing, and there was nothing good. And having been travelling around the world prior to starting this teaching job, I'd been diving all over the place, and I felt like diving was a cool sport. I felt like diving was something that was very much a part of my identity, who I was. I wanted to be. I decided age 7 that I was going to be a scuba diver. I didn't really understand that, but it was definitely very much a part of me. I learned to dive when I was 16 and thought a great deal about it. But there was nothing like the surf brands. There was nothing out there that said, I'm a diver, that you could wear when you weren't actually diving.
And we kind of played with the idea and then started designing T-shirts, starting investigating fabrics and just getting involved in it. And I think that became quite exciting. And we found that we were interested in the possibilities.
There you go. Look at that. Your favourite pyjamas.
The first ever Fourth Element T-shirt that was ever produced came hot off the press, in fact, hot off the printers, and then Jim sent it to me in Spain so I could see it, kind of early on. And that was obviously quite a moment, and I'm never going to forget that one. Origin, Fourth Element Origin T-shirt, Fourth Element dive wear on the back, Earth, Air, Fire, Water on the front, and boy, did we deliberate over those, precise shades.
A lot of time, a lot of effort went into those. Oh my goodness me! And then this is the first ever brochure, which, worryingly includes both of us as models.
It does, doesn't it?
Not as much as Strikey, fortunately for the future of the company, but
friends, colleagues, anybody else we could generally rope in.
Literally random people I met on the beach in South Africa. I went up to and said, "Would you mind posing for a photo?"
Jim looks 12.
Yeah, that's really
technical dive wear in that. Well, that was kind of our ambition, and weirdly enough, there's 3 names in there that kind of, still with us. Hydroskin, Thermocline, and Xerotherm, and it's it was a weird process of developing this, and this is actually one of the very first prototypes. And you fitted in that at one point.
Oh, thanks, Jim. Yeah.
Nice. The Thermocline was actually the first big idea for us, in that how can you make something totally different, neutrally buoyant, underneath, wear it underneath the wetsuit,
something wear it underneath neoprene as such.
Wear it underneath the dry suit, and in our very, very, very early days, thinking, well, maybe this is a universal undergarment, and then somebody looked at us like we had 2 heads at this point, and we thought maybe we were barking up the wrong tree.
remember drawing patterns literally on the kitchen table, and doing nests of patterns out of paper, like thick pattern paper, which was another whole skill of and a whole new experience. We were sending them off to a factory, and then they would come back and say, well, how are you going to, what's the lay going to look like, and what is the fabric costings? And these were words that we were going like, I don't know, what are you talking about? And so it was just, everything was so completely from scratch. It was, I suppose, very, very exciting, wasn't it, basically?
So we quit our jobs, and then we wrote the business plan. And
I'm still working on it.
And
hasn't been quite finished yet.
Yeah, it's always a work in progress. We booked a stand, went to a trade show, put up the banner that said Fourth Element divewear on the front of the stand, and we dressed the mannequins that we'd taken out of a skip with our sample products.
Gavin.
Yeah, Gavin was one of them. Yeah. Right. Yes. Okay.
Right.
Little does he know it, but Ewan McGregor had a fairly significant role to play in the growth of Fourth Element in the early days.
So Ewan McGregor's manager was in fact his mum, and she went, "Oh, hello," and she was very pleasant, quite mumsy really, and said that we'd seen Ewan on Parky the night before, and he was interested in getting hold of some thermal underwear, and we've got some thermal underwear. So, that's lovely, but I don't really know much about it. You'll have to get in touch with Doug Allen.
3 months later, we'd kind of forgotten about it.
Yeah, we had kind of
stuff had happened.
Yeah,
and then these photos turned up in the post. A couple of slides basically, and a little note from Doug saying this was the best thing he'd ever worn, and we could use his name and use these photos wherever we liked. So phoned him just to check, and he said, yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. Just checking that he'd worn it in the way that we thought, which was literally just underneath a neoprene dry suit. And it was that point that we didn't know this at the time, but his reputation later on, we discovered is that he has antifreeze for blood. So it may not have been the best test, in all fairness, but he raved about it.
You supplied
exactly.
Obi-Wan Kenobi with his underwear.
Obi-Wan
Kenobi
like wears Fourth Element.
Really high performance thermal, base layer undersuit type of product, and they pick it up and they go, not very thick, is it? I'm going to keep you very warm. So you'd say, well, actually that's the whole point. It's not very thick, but it does keep you really warm. Oh, I don't think I want to wear this in Stony Cove. And that was, it was basically objection. Never heard of you. Where have you from? What have you got? That doesn't look very good. Well, when you were saying, well, are you going to order any? It was just like, no way.
We learned that persistence pays off, and one of our biggest dealers now, it took me 11 times going in there before they placed an order. 11, it was 10 no's, and come back when you got something else to show us that's interesting.
Was that the same dealer that had to come out and find you after a while? I thought, where's Jim got to?
10 8x4 sheets of MDF, which had all toppled over onto me. And I honestly did not have the physical strength to push them back up again. I just had enough to stop me being crushed. And then a policeman sort of knocked on the back door of the van and said, you can't leave your van here for more than 10 minutes, it's for loading. And kind of got through that before do you need some help? And I think they took pity on me in the dive shop after that.
It was quite an extreme way of getting an order, wasn't it, really?
It was. Stockholm Boat and Dive Show.
Oh gosh.
Which was
just another story.
Another story that probably, doesn't need to be told.
I think we just hope that we'd still be actually in business and still be, producing more product and growing the brand.
We like to think, I think it's fair to say, we like to think that we bring people along with us and try and get people more involved and believe in what we're doing.
So we have got an amazing team and full of talented individuals. And as Jim said, who are also on board with the concept of what Fourth Element's about. I think with the direction, what motivates and excites us all. I think there's quite a lot of similarity and unity in that respect.
Fortunately, there's nobody better than us at procrastinating or going off on tangents. So we haven't employed anyone else to do that.
We are excellent at that. Yeah, absolutely.
This is an award we won in 2016 for being the best manufacturer, Sport Diver magazine.
Definitely a very proud
moment.
And
it was a proud moment.
Yeah.
We've always had a reputation for being innovators, and we've always tried to be innovative. We always try to take a different approach to doing things and not just look for the easy solution. When we started out, we always had other ideas as well about, I don't know, our place on the planet. And from aside from all of that, I think still the thing that makes me feel the most motivated is the environmental side of things, that and the way that the company has developed over the last 4 or 5 years, and the directions that we've taken there, because I think that's something that it's a legacy for us that goes way beyond. Oh yeah, we made a nice product that kept people warm. So maybe in our own little way, we've had something to do with better custodianship of the planet and handing something on for our kids.
Yeah.
I think there's something more important about what we do outside of that simple context.
Does that follow nicely onto this?
Nicely onto that.
But this was a defining moment, wasn't it? Not you wearing them.
No.
No. From quite an early point in our development, we've had a kind of environmental consideration. It's only been, 5 years that we've been able to start really putting that into some kind of tangible action by producing initially the swimwear, and then obviously all the other products that we've now started to create, which integrate recycled yarns and have a better environmental footprint.
This idea that we can just carry on as we were is a complete fallacy, and if we can do something about it, then maybe other people can too. I hope, possibly against hope really, that there are still parts of the world that people travel to experience wonder underwater.
Probably shouldn't talk about anything about that. That's probably a really bad idea. Scratch that.
When the team from Game of Thrones came to when the team came to us and said, would we provide thermal equipment to keep the actors warm, that was a pretty awesome moment, to be fair.
Talking at the UN, that's got to be something that I have to put down as a bit of a highlight. I mean, if you'd asked me at any time in my life, am I likely to talk at the UN, and be like, no chance.
The people you meet all over the world who love doing what we do and whose lives have been improved by what we do, and it's pretty cool. What do you want to do in 20 years' time?
I don't know. I probably hope to be retired, I would think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Cheers.
Ja, super tof. Die 4 man, ja, ze vonden het blijkbaar hartstikke lief, want ze bleven gewoon circuleren. Ze kwamen steeds terug. Prachtig. Ik kon ze bijna aanraken, zo dichtbij.
Zo'n mooie ervaring. Ze waren zo dichtbij.
Die eerste die was gaaf. Iedereen zat zo te kijken van waar is die, waar is die? En dan denk je gewoon over je heen. Ja, maar je weet ook niet waar die zit.
Lekker driftduikje.
Ja, toch?
Heerlijk.
De stemming zit er goed in aan boord. Het is net een pittige stromingsluit. Maar wat hebben we gave dingen te zien? Heel veel roggen, fantastisch groot. Heel veel schone vis. En iedereen is nogal gelaten. Uitgelaten, moet ik zeggen.
Zeker 8 of 9 verschillende, zeker wel, verschillende. Niet te snel, maar wel fijn. Ja, super cool, echt gaaf. Super kicken. Een wens, het stond nog op een lijstje. Ching ching.
Good morning, I'm Kirsten from Dive and Travel, and today I'm talking with Sarah O'Gorman from Red Sea Diving Safari. At the moment she is at Masa Chakra. Hello Sarah, how are you doing?
Hi Kirsten, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Nice to have us today from the sunny Masa Chakra. You're making me a little bit jealous with the good weather, but you are going to show us around on the around Masa Chakra.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about the when clients arrive at the airport of Marsalam, how the transfer will go?
Yeah, sure. So when they arrive at the airport, if they arrive in Marsalam, then it's around a 35-minute to 45-minute drive with one of our drivers. It's an easy road, very quiet, and after that time they arrive in Masa Chakra, and then they arrive at the reception and do their check-in. And if they're going to Masa Nakari, then it takes about another half an hour on top of that. Again, with one of our drivers, and very secure road, no problems. If they arrive in Hurghada, then it's about 2.5 to 3 hours from Hurghada Airport to Masa Chakra, and again another half an hour to Masa Nakari.
Good, good. So it's actually better to arrive at Marsalam Airport than Hurghada. especially when you have a late arrival, for example, or an early departure from the airport.
Yeah, exactly. And also Marsa Alam Airport's a lot smaller. It's a lot easier. It's a privately owned airport, so a lot of people prefer the experience there. But you've got the choice if you want, but of course Marsa Alam's better.
It's more comfortable. So if I'm correct, you're at between the reception and the dive center area at the moment. Can you show us around on the resort?
Yeah, sure, no problem. So I'm just coming from the reception now. And when anyone arrives, then they come to the diving center, and the first place that they'll find is the equipment room. So I'll just switch around. So this is the diving center where they make their check-in. Obviously, we've got like some measures in place for coronavirus at the moment, so that's why there's a big glass screen. But this is where they do all the paperwork, filling in the PADI liabilities. And if they want to rent any equipment, then we've got a selection of equipment in there, all Aqualung and Myers equipment. So then from here, they get their weights and then move across to the diving shade. And the diving shade is basically the area where we have most of the diving activities. I'll just take you over there now.
Oh, it's such a beautiful weather. The house roof looks amazing.
So this is the diving shade here. And as you can see, it's right beside the water by the house reef. There's our house reef there. There's our jetty with our speedboats. And this is the diving shade.
Oh, that's a lot of room, and so when it's busy, the divers have enough space to walk around and set up for the shore dive or
exactly.
Zodiac dive. Yeah.
So basically, everyone has their own individual locker. They keep all their equipment in their locker. I'll show you one over here. At the moment, we're encouraging people not to be right next to each other so that they keep a distance because of Corona.
Mm-hmm.
And then here we have all of the full air tanks in the middle, and also nitrox over there.
And is
so
is nitrox for free, or do the divers have to pay a small surcharge for nitrox?
It's a small surcharge, €2 per tank.
Oh, that's not too bad. That's okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful site there.
And so these are the rinse tanks where they can wash their equipment after the dive. We have separate tanks for cameras, regulators, wetsuits, BCDs, boots, fins. And that's that.
Oh, that's good.
We also have a sightings board where people can write all of their sightings that they've seen. And we also have 15-litre tanks as well, if anybody needs a 15-litre tank.
Yeah. Do the clients have to book it in advance, or are there enough during the stay?
There are enough here, but it helps us a lot if they book just one day in advance, especially during the peak season.
Yeah.
So in a minute, I'll show you in the diving center where we have all the reservations for the different excursions and for the tanks. And I can show you how they can sign up for those. Then at the back there, you can probably see we have the hangers for the wetsuits, the boots,
in the back.
the changing rooms, the shower over there. And then over here, I'll show you how it works when they actually go on the house reef. So this is the map of our house reef here. And as you can see, there's a north reef and a south reef. And they can either go by shore and back by shore, or go by Zodiac and back by shore, or go by Zodiac and then put up the SMB at the end of the dive and come back by Zodiac. So on both sides.
Yeah, so there actually are 6 different dive possibilities on the house reef alone.
Exactly, yeah. And actually the house reef is about 2 kilometers from north to south. So even if you're doing Zodiac, you can still, you can drop in different places, be picked up in different places. And So there's quite a lot of variety to find different dives.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So, and are you walking to the dive center as well at the moment, or?
Yes, I'll take you over there.
Very good. Can you tell us something in the meantime when you're walking to the dive center about the history of Red Sea Diving Safari?
Yeah, sure. So we've been around for around 30 years now, and it actually started before this area was accessible to tourists and people. And it started with a man called Hassan Helmi, and he set up a small like moving safari to discover all the bays around. And then gradually people started to join him on his safari, and to discover all of the dive sites and the bays in the region. And obviously it became more popular over the years.
Yeah.
And this is where we are today.
So I might say Red Sea Diving Safari is one of the founders of diving in the area.
Yeah, definitely. We were the first ones operating here. So hopefully we have some of the best knowledge and the best experience about the best places to go and dive, I hope.
I can agree, because I stayed at Masa Chakra twice already. And I definitely can agree that everybody and all the staff is very... knows a lot and is very helpful. And you're at the dive center at the moment now. And,
yeah, I'm at the dive center now.
And you're going to show around.
I have Basta here, the base leader. I'll just introduce you to
Hello.
Dive and Travel in Holland. So yeah, this is the diving center where we do all the reservation and all of the administration for the diving center. And usually this screen, which you can see now, is where we do all the reservation for the excursions and so on. Of course, at the moment, we prefer that people don't come inside the dive center because of Corona. Mm-hmm. But normally we would do the reservation 1 day in advance, and we would display all of the excursions on the touch screen, and people can, up till 5 o'clock, they can reserve their excursion for the next day, according to what we've got running.
Yeah, very good. But we're going to talk about it a little bit later. So you can, when you're explaining the diving, not only at Chakra, but also at Nakari, how the diving, a specific dive day will be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So where are you heading now on the resort?
So now I'm coming out of the diving center and heading into the center of the village. So you can see the diving shade where we've already been on the right side. And then here we have the sunshade, which is like the relaxation area overlooking the sea.
Oh, very nice.
And here we have the cafeteria, which is where we take all of the drinks and snacks if anyone wants anything between the dives.
And how is staying at Red Sea Diving Safari? Is it is on full board? So breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Can you tell me something about that?
Yeah, sure. So as you said, it's full board or soft all-inclusive. So it includes the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which is in our buffet restaurant, which you can just see at the top there, which I'll take you to later. And also soft drinks, tea and coffee, cola, Fanta, Sprite. And then just paying extra for juices, like snacks, ice creams, things like that.
Yeah, and the guests can all pick it up at the bar or also at the restaurant?
At the restaurant as well, yeah.
Very good, very good.
We also include water for all of the guests. Normally this is by the dispenser system, so we encourage people to bring their own water bottle and fill it up from the dispensers. We've been doing that since 2010 to try and reduce the plastic output. But at the moment, of course, with Corona, we're not allowed to use the dispensers. So we're just giving all guests as many bottles of water as they would like in plastic bottles, unfortunately.
Yes. And you said already, normally the guests can tap the water from the dispensers, and also see the waste is separated as well. I also know you have some extra eco measurements. Can you tell me something about that?
Yeah, sure. So as you can see in front of me now, we've got the 4 bins to separate the different rubbish. So we have an NGO which we contract to recycle or collect and recycle as much rubbish as possible. And also we have quite a few other eco efforts. We have solar energy powering Shagra at the moment, which we're hoping to expand to Shagra, to Nakri, sorry, and Lakhmi.
Okay, that's good. Yep. From the bar to the royal tents, with beautiful sea view when you wake up in the morning, and then you wake up with this beautiful view, and walk down to the dive shack and jump into the water to make a beautiful early morning dive, or a little bit later in the morning. So please, Sarah, can you please show us the different room types? And now you're walking inside the royal tent.
Yeah, so this is the royal tent. They have either a big bed or 2 twin beds, but they can actually take up to 4 people. So if you have a family, they're quite a good option. They also have a small seating area here. You can see the beanbag seating area. And a storage for the clothes, and a safe box there you can see on the right-hand side. A fan, and a small fridge for some cold drinks. And the best part of it, of course, is the view.
Yes.
So.
Beautiful. And the first question we always get from our clients is when it's in the summer, and of course we already know that the temperatures in Egypt can be quite high. How is it when clients stay in a tent or royal tent for that matter?
Well, of course it's desert, so actually the nights are quite cool. Obviously in the summer, during the afternoon, it's quite warm in the royal tents and in the tents, but they have fans inside. So most people find that because they're in and out of the water 3 or 4 times a day, they don't spend much time in the tent during the day. And then of course at night it's cooler overnight anyway. So it's not usually a problem. No,
and you have a nice breeze. So it's actually quite, you've got a lot of space when you stay in a royal tent. And do they all have sea view, or only the first row of royal tents?
They all have sea view. Some of it's slightly not obstructed, but of course we stagger them so that there's certainly the first and second row have unobstructed sea view. And then the third row, sometimes you might find that there's part of the tent in front overlaps the sea view, but they can all see the sea from the front door.
Yeah, beautiful. Very, very
And
nice.
we always try and fill them from the front first. So, you know, obviously we know that people prefer to be at the front. So that's what we try and do.
Yeah, sounds wonderful. And of course, there's no bathroom at the tents or the royal tents. Can you show us where the bath and showers are?
Yeah, sure. You can see it just ahead of me now. Mm-hmm. Just past the volleyball court. That's the shared bathroom, which is for the royal tents.
Yeah.
There's one from
the white building to the front of the restaurant.
Exactly. Yeah, you can see the male one on the left and the female one on the right there.
Yeah. So they have a short stroll to from the royal tents to the bath room and showers.
Exactly.
Yeah. So where you are taking us now at the moment?
So now I'll take you over to the standard tent. I think it might be a little bit windy on the way.
No, it's okay.
We'll walk over there. Have a wander over.
So you're just talking about the volleyball court. Are there any other facilities at the resort people can?
Yeah, we've got basketball, and we've also got ping pong.
Very nice.
Here we've also got a massage hut.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it ahead of me there.
Yes. And the tents are slightly further away compared with the royal tents.
Exactly.
How much time will it take to walk from the tents to, for example, to the dive shed?
Not more than 5 minutes. It's just straight across the beach.
Yeah, you can cross the beach. Yes.
Yeah.
But still, again, in front of the water line.
Yeah, you can see in front of me as well. This is the Bawadi Bedouin Cafe. A lot of people spend their evenings here to have a beer or a shisha, compare their pictures from the day, share stories.
Very good.
It's quite an ideal place.
Is it allowed to enter the water when you exit your royal tent or your tent to enter the water directly, or is there a designated area when you can only enter the water?
You can only enter the water in the area that I showed you just in front of the diving shade. And the reason for that is that we don't want anyone to disturb the juvenile fish, as the top of the coral flat is like a nursery for the baby fish.
Yeah.
We like to protect that area.
Yeah, very good, very good. Yeah. Yeah, the last time when I stayed at Masha Chakra, there were some baby black tips just below the surface, and it was a very beautiful sighting to see. So I see you're arrived nearly at the tents. What's actually the difference between the tents and the royal tents?
So the normal tents, they all have twin beds. There's not the option for a double bed. They're slightly smaller, and they don't have the fridge inside or the storage space. Estelle's just assisting me.
It's okay.
So I don't have enough hands to unlock the tent.
No problem at all. Thank you very much.
So here's the standard tent. So as you can see, the two beds, as I was saying, plus a fan, and then just a small storage area for the clothes. So and as we're in winter, extra blankets just in case you need it.
Yeah. So actually, the main difference is there's no fridge and no bean bags in the tent, but they're still quite spacious. So so no problem at all.
Yeah, they're certainly as spacious as, if not more spacious than, a liverboard cabin or something like that. That's what a lot of people compare them to.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it is still quite good, and of course, still again the beautiful views over the
Exactly.
And
you've also got the hammocks there if you want to chill out, and the seating area outside each tent for that evening drink, sunset drink.
Very nice. And you just told me that in the tents there are extra blankets during winter. I know at Chakra, but also at Nakari, there are many photographers and videographers staying at the resorts. Can they stay in a tent, or is it better to stay, for example, in a hut or in a chalet?
I personally think that if they're bringing a lot of camera equipment, then a hut or a chalet is a bit better. I mean, the tents aren't very sandy inside, but just to be really sure, to protect the equipment, I would say a hut or a chalet would be better. But equally, they can always lock their camera in their locker overnight, and that's probably a bit more sand free as well. But the huts, especially in winter, the huts are an ideal alternative to the tents because they're a locked room, you know, like dust free, still with the shared bathroom, but just a bit better for equipment.
Yeah, yeah. So you're walking towards the huts at the moment. I already see them. It's can you compare them about the size to the royal tents, or are they a little bit the same size or different?
Yeah, they're about the same size as a royal tent, possibly even a tiny bit smaller, but about the same size as a royal tent.
Yeah. So sounds great, and they're again beautiful, situated with sea view.
Yeah, I'll just give you the view. So there's the 15 huts here, and all of them behind the tents there with the sea in the background.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, great.
Just to give you an indication, the bathroom for the standard tents just over there on the right, to the right of the huts.
Yes. Yeah.
And then we also have a shared bathroom for the huts themselves, just behind the first row here. I'll just show you where it is.
The small white building.
Just over there.
Yes. So there's a very short walk to the bathrooms.
Yeah. So do you want to see inside one?
If it's possible, yes, please.
It is. Oh, there's one of our gardeners.
You do also very important work.
Yep.
Hello.
So these are the huts.
Are the huts
Again,
always with twin bedded or also with double bed?
yeah, just with twin beds in the huts. And then with a small wardrobe and a fan and a mirror. It's very important to look good while diving. And some drawers.
Yeah.
And of course the view.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah.
And a small clothes hanger here for hanging wet diving equipment or swimming equipment. And seating area.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
And so I know the last room type you're going to show us are the deluxe chalets, but it will take a little bit of a stroll from the huts to the chalets. Maybe if it's possible, can you tell us something about excursions or dive excursions from departing from Chakra and Nakari?
Yeah, sure. So I'll talk to you about it while we're on the way.
Yeah.
So the most famous excursion that we do from Chagra is Elphinstone Reef.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any boats on it at the moment, otherwise I'd show you, but you can see it from the shore here. It's about 20 minutes by Zodiac on a good day. And we usually offer this 3 times a day for anyone who wants to go by speedboat. So at 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock. It needs just a minimum of 4 people to go, and then we're happy to take the speedboat at any of those times. And of course, Elphinstone is one of the most famous offshore reefs in the area, and offers a variety of marine life. At different times of the year, there's the opportunity to see different kinds of big stuff, but equally, even when there's not the big stuff around, it's just a beautiful, beautiful reef with huge drop-offs and very nice landscapes. It's always, Elphinstone's always a good dive. So that's one of the most famous excursions we do from
You're just
Chagra.
passing the restaurant on your left.
Yes.
And very nice. And I just had a glimpse of the chalets actually situated on the plateau. So I can imagine that the view